All right, let's go. I'm gonna do a quick review for Steam Deck, guys. Here it is. I'm gonna show you guys. Those watching on the stream, yes, we're streaming this one because we're cool like that. Here's the Steam Deck. It's massive. This thing's
that's kind of pretty looking.
Monster, huh? I've been playing Witcher 3 on it, and yeah, couple of the pros. Let's go over the pros of this thing. First off, it's basically a small PC, and it has Linux on there right now, but I'm putting Windows on it, and it runs like a small PC. It runs pretty good. The first time, oh Jesus Christ, I almost dropped it. The first time I was playing Witcher 3, it was stuttering a little bit, but since then it's been doing just fine. So I think maybe it was just kind of hiccups. When they say it has like a green check mark, if it says like, oh, it runs great on the Steam Deck, follow the green check marks. I've tried to play games that are not that. Like for example, I've tried to play a Ubisoft game. You have to log into Uplay. Those generally don't run good on Steam Deck, is what they say, because you have to go through the Uplay part of it. Don't try to run those if you can. So all the Assassin's Creed and stuff like that. I did Wildlands. If it's just through Steam, it's better. What else am I playing on there? I played Metal Slug, classic, games like that. It does a good job running games. It's a solid machine. It puts out a lot of heat. It burns through a lot of battery. So the first accessory I bought was 12 feet of USB-C cord so that I could plug it into the wall and walk around my house with it a little bit. It is a strong machine. Now, the controls are well built. This thing's a fucking brick. Well built. It has 2 mouse pads that are very good to the touch.
I was going to ask you, so can you talk a little bit about the hardware itself right now? Like I'm your person because I don't know anything about this thing.
Yeah.
So those are 2 mouse pads. So is it just like, hey, which finger you prefer? What do you think the benefit of that is?
Generally the left side is for scrolling up and down, and the other side's full mouse pad is generally how it feels. But I think this one could be used as both ways at some things, but this is generally the main mouse one. It takes a second to get used to how sensitive they are, but it has a bit of a tactile feel that you'll get to pretty good. I would say that the analogs are crisp. I mean, Nintendo needs to talk to these guys. They are super crisp. And the regular buttons, the A, B, X, Y, beautiful hard candy shell feel, like it's like an M&M or something like that. That's I compare things to food, and it's real clean like that. And then, I mean, it's just the sound is top notch. It feels heavy. I don't know about you, but I like when a console or a controller feels heavy. It reminds me of Jurassic Park. It feels more expensive. And that's what it is. Oh, look at that. I just downloaded Control on this one. I forgot about that.
Nice.
But I mean, in the display as crisp as can be, right? I was insanely impressed at how sharp Witcher 3 looks. It looks very good. Now, I got more to download on that. Okay. Let me pause that. Okay. Now, any questions from you on it so far before I go into the downsides?
Okay, so question was, so you said you had this check mark, so okay, that's understandable, and that's I think there's so many games that you could get past that and find the one you really want to play. So you said The Witcher was keeping up after that little hiccup?
Yeah.
And it ran just like if you were playing on a console itself?
Exactly like that. I've gotten through Witcher more now than I ever have. I'm liking it a lot on the Steam Deck.
Okay. And is the screen, obviously I'm looking at it from my computer, but the screen, is that the same size or bigger than the Switch itself? Like
bigger
maybe
than
the OLED?
Switch. It feels like it's bigger than the Switch, yeah.
Okay. What would be... Are you running it off? Does it download the game onto the deck itself, or is it playing over Wi-Fi?
It downloads the deck on itself, but I'm installing Windows on there, so I'm going to do the whole Game Pass thing on there. Because my big goal on this thing, 2 big games I want to play. World of Warcraft, because of course I'm a fucking nerd. World of Warcraft, and I want to play Sea of Thieves on this thing so bad. And so I'm going to do the Sea of Thieves through the Game Pass, or through Windows anyways, and that should be a lot of fun. I mean, it's built like a truck. You can't knock this thing if you really want a portable PC. This is definitely the way to go. Nice. I actually prefer this over a small laptop. Okay. Now, here's why I suggest you don't buy this. Okay. If you have a gaming PC at all, it's better than this thing. Keyboard and mouse, I say, like any shooter. That's why I'm downloading Control on there, because I'm like, I got to really get my hands on some shooters on this. But you guys know keyboard and mouse is the best way to play a shooter. If you want to be accurate at all or decent at it, there's a reason that, like Overwatch League, all these different leagues, they do keyboard and mouse. They're not gonna trust a controller. The controller distance on this, feels better. The Switch feels so small in my hands now compared to this thing, because the controller, it's so much wider. I do like that feel, but it might be hard for those people with smaller hands or something. It is a PC in every way you could think of, but it's not a big PC. It is a light computer. This reminds me so much of when I got a friend coming up to me and saying, "Hey Frank, can you build me a gaming PC for 500, $600?" And I got to be like, "Well, I mean, I can, but it'll have limitations." That's what this is. I can, but it has limitations. So keep that in mind when you're trying to, if you're thinking you're going to play like Cyberpunk or maybe like one of the real big ones. I haven't tried that yet. I think Witcher 3 is a really good test on it, but Witcher 3 also came out, I think, in 2015. So you got to keep that in mind. I wouldn't buy this knowing what I know now, just because if I'm going to do hardcore gaming, it's on my PC. And if I'm going to do light gaming, which is what this is for, I would do it on my Switch. I would play games that would be on my Switch. Like, for example, I'm like, oh, I really want to do a racing game on this. So when I do I'm going to download Forza on this. I'm going to try out Forza on this guy. Everything I want to do is Windows, by the way. It's not Linux. I can't stand Linux. That's a personal opinion of mine, is that the Linux operating system, it's good if you like Linux. I do not care for it at all. So I'm looking forward to getting Windows on this. I just feel like this is meant for... So now, Jonathan's got one of these now, too. Actually, it came in today. And the reason it's perfect for Jonathan is he's a dad, much like you, who doesn't have time to sit there and game. So if he wants to play the latest Saints Row that's coming out later on, he doesn't have time to sit on his computer and play that. But he can play it on his Steam Deck quite well, I'm sure, because I'm playing the Witcher 3 in maximum graphics. It's playing in ultra everything, right? So you could play that Saints Row on this while you're watching Kyrie in the living room and she's watching some Bluey or something like that. You could be playing on this. So there is definitely the audience for this. I would say if you're a hardcore gamer though, you're already set. Don't get this. But if you're somewhere in the middle, or you want to touch into those big PC games you keep hearing about, this is your way to go. It's not a cheap machine though. This thing was like $600 after everything's said and done.
Gosh dang.
Yeah. Okay.
And
And Jonathan got the bigger one.
Yeah, that's heat. Yeah, that's heat, man. $600 for if you were trying to be like, okay, I'm a hardcore gamer, but I'm on the move.
Yeah,
because you want to play those type of style games instead of like a Nintendo Switch. That's steep though, because I'm a Nintendo fan myself, so it's like there's no way. I mean, if I'm traveling or any have type of thing, I'm picking Switch all day. So
and Nintendo's lighter too, a lot lighter.
I mean, I could get the OLED version for what is it, 400, 350, 400, something like that.
I think it's probably closer to 3.
So I'm like, ugh. And I'm playing exclusive games that you can't play on Steam. I mean, if you were into Nintendo type games, so. That's hard. I
am revisit. By the way, Steam library is so important. Again, I was gonna wait till I got the Windows on there, but that's being delayed. My Windows update, my Windows download, so that's kind of being delayed right now. But one of the things I'm gonna get Crash Bandicoot Racer because I want to play a racing game. Now, normally I would just play Mario Kart, right? But I need something that's Steam. So there's that.
Yeah.
There's been a few times now it's like, oh, I'll download Temtem on this, but I have all the Pokemon games. I don't need to download Temtem normally. But let me download Temtem on this. One of the games I actually just bought, it was so cheap. It was like $2. Remember that Rise game that came out on Xbox One? That they should make sequels for, where you're playing as like a Spartan or a gladiator or some shit from Roman times.
Oh my god, one of my favorite games of all time.
I know you're such a big fan. You always tell me to play it. I just bought it, and it's downloading on my Steam Deck right now.
Is this your first time playing it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know you always talk about how good it is. So
it's like one of the few games I 100% on that. Yeah.
It was like $2 on Steam. I was like, oh, well, I can't pass this up. This is crazy.
Oh yeah, shit. Yeah. Damn.
So that's my review for the Steam Deck, guys. If you want to be a PC gamer, but you don't have the time to be dedicated to it, Steam Deck's all the way around. If you're already a dedicated PC gamer, you're set. Don't upgrade from that. It's like going to a lesser powerful laptop. That's and of course the controllers too. That's another thing too. If you're sitting at a PC and you're using controller a lot, you're usually not, but there are sometimes, then this is the thing for you, but there are some games that are just not controller, that are not meant for controller. Keep that in mind.